Hi everyone, how's everybody doing? Hope you're enjoying the channel. Today we're going to be looking at why millennials are not buying motorcycles. Let's take this helmet off and crack on. So, why are millennials not buying motorcycles, which is going to have an impact on the manufacturing side of the main manufacturers, Suzuki, Yamaha, all that good stuff. Yeah, why are they not buying motorcycles? Why are they not taking up motorcycles like I did in the 1980s? Yeah, why is this not happening? So, what we're going to do is look at two sides of the equation on this, and I know there are other videos on this, but within YouTube, but I'm going to come at it from a different angle. There's one side, which is the expectation of the 22-year-old or 24-year-old on what they would really like, and then they realise the costs of this, and they say that they can't afford to ride a motorcycle. That's why they go and get a car. Then there's the other side of the equation, which comes up from rearing and bringing up this child in what's today an ultra safe environment. We have, I don't know how to say this, we have husbands that are buying SUVs which are ultra safe, of which they are not, but that's a different subject, that are ultra safe and being driven by this ultra safe approach. And the wives are saying, we need to look after our children, and they need to be cared for, and we need to wrap them up in cotton wool. And subsequently, the father doesn't drive the child forward to do risky things and enjoy life to the maximum. So that's what we're going to look at today. So we're going to look at some new prices of bikes and second-hand bikes, and in the price range that one can buy a bike. And then we're going to talk about rearing of children in this super safe world. Let's crack on. Right, everyone, let's have a look at what the prices of motorcycles are and where there's opportunities for the young ones of today to get a good bike at a reasonable price. Now, let's go back to 1984, maybe 1985, when I bought my first bike after passing my test. And that was this one in the top right hand corner, and that just looks like me on a Suzuki X7, a two-stroke 250cc motorcycle, and I purchased that in Sheffield for £800. So I saved up my money after working and doing things like you should do, and ended up buying that from a place in Sheffield for £800, which in today's money, in October 2022, works out to be about £3,000. So that's £3,000. It was second hand. And it was great. And these bikes now are advertised for £5,000, £4,000 today. I've no idea why, because whilst they were great at the time, they were particularly crap. Yeah, they were particularly crap, but they are good fun. But the bikes of today, for cheaper money, are far superior. But people love nostalgia, and they go and buy these bikes for crazy prices. Why? I don't know. But that cost me £800, which in today's money is about £3,000. Now, I'm not expecting the millennials of today to go and save £3,000, but let's have a look at what's on the market. So a millennial, if he does want a motorbike, he looks at something like this. Now, this is nothing to do with the potteries, but it's a great place to buy motorcycles, new and second-hand, and this is no advertising, but I'm just using their website as a measure point. So We've just passed our test, having spent somewhere between 600 and £1,000, having to go through the lessons and take the test, and we're now able to buy something like a 500, 600 cc. Yeah, let's assume that this person is over 24 and can buy any motorcycle based on their license. We're not looking at the 21-year-old that's restricted to such CC or whatever. So, firstly, I go on here and I see a Ninja 650 or a Ninja 400. Yeah, I can see here that I'm going to be paying on this 400 £84, but I don't really want a 400. I know I want a 650. So it's going to be £107 a month. Yeah, let's have a look at the details on that. It's a £200 deposit. So that's £107 a month over 3 years, let's say. So that's going to be in the first year, 1200, £1,400. And then there's going to be another £1,200 for year two, another £1,200 for year three, and then you hand it back. So the total of that is 3,800, probably more near 3,900, including the £7 per month. £3,900 for 3 years, and then you hand the motorcycle back because it's PCP. If we go HP, hire purchase, and buy it, it's going to be £336 a month. No kid can afford £336 a month. Instantly move to the car. So this is one of the first reasons why kids, the young people of today, are not moving into motorcycles. And the decline of motorcycles in the West will fall and fall and fall. So the big manufacturers, wake up. We need to reduce these prices. Stop putting so much technical crap on the bikes to increase the price to £7,600 on this Ninja 650. It really needs to be reduced. So, what are the other alternatives? So we look on Marketplace, and this is what we really want, a 2016 Z1000 Kawasaki. I'm not focusing on Kawasaki's, by the way. I've just had a quick look, that's all. It's had some 3 owners. It's 2016, so it's only 8 years, it's only 6 years old. I'd love this, but as a 24, 25-year-old, I'm not going to be able to pay the insurance. And by the way, insurance has always been expensive on motorcycles and cars for all kids. It doesn't matter. It's always been expensive, and it was expensive when I was a kid. So let's not focus on that. So this is what I want. It's £6,000. I might get it down to 5,500. How long is it going to save me as a 25-year-old to save 5,500? Or do I go to the bank? Yep. Nope. Let's go to the car. Here's another example. GSXR 2007, 4,850. We might be able to get it for 4,500. Only got 11,000 miles on the clock. Looks great, stunning paint job, as it said, excellent condition. Yep, I could really do that, but how long is it going to take me to save? How long is it going to take me to save £4,500? Let's move to going and buying a car. Now let's have a look at the world of reality. So let's imagine you're 25 years old, you've just passed your test, you've spent £600 to £1,000 on passing your test. And then you're going to have to save £1,000, which you probably already have done. Yes, you probably already have done because you know you want a motorbike. What can I buy for £1,000? So we've got here a ZZR 600. It's got 2 keys. It's 45,000 miles, which is nothing for these engines. It's got new tyres, 700 miles ago. All that stuff. I have new starter clutch a few months ago. Bearing in mind, this bike is 22 years old. Yeah. So it's had a few things done to it. There we go. £1,000 buys you a ZZR 600, which is great. It's absolutely great. You'll have tons of fun on this. Tons of fun. Let's have a look at another one. Again, another Kawasaki. I'm not promoting Kawasaki. Yes. But for £1,050, which you'll be able to reduce the price to 1,000 easily. Yeah. You've got this bike, which has got 24,000 miles on it. It's clean. It's had the oil and air filter done. 12 months MOT. New clutch cable fitted. It says 1,300 quid cash there, but just ignore that. You'll be able to get that for £1,000. £1,000. What can £1,000 buy now? What? £1,000, it buys a decent television, 55-inch, whatever, 4K, and a PlayStation. Yeah, that's what it buys you. But this brings you much more fun. Now, I know the insurance. Let's go back to the insurance. I know the insurance is going to be high, but it always has been high. So let's not focus on that. So that's that. Right. Now let's have a look at the other side of the equation. We've now figured out that we can buy a bike for £1,000. And that bike we can work on by going and getting a toolkit from Halfords for £140, giving it a service and using the University of YouTube to understand how to service it and how to use a screwdriver, which a lot of guys today have no clue. Lots of guys today have no clue how to wire a plug. It's amazing. No wonder, we really need more STEM education in the UK. But that's another subject. Maybe we'll have another video in the future on that. Yeah. So by buying this and a toolkit from Halfords, 140 quid, you can work on the machine. You can use YouTube on how to do the work that's required, servicing it, new chain, new brakes, all that kind of rubbish, changing a light bulb, anything like that. You can learn from YouTube. We've got no excuse. No excuse. And £1,000 can be saved up quickly if you work and earn your money and stop spending it on silly things like subscriptions to Xbox for £35 a month so you can play your fighting games and things like that. Go and buy a bike and get out on the streets and have a great time. Right, let's move into the next equation. The upbringing of a child in a safe world. Let's do that next. A safe world. That's an interesting statement, isn't it? A safe world. We seem to be more paranoid now in 2022 about the safety of our children than anything else. And I understand that. The media gives the impression that everything's unsafe and, the risks of everything. And this is why we take our kids to school in a safe car and we drop them off in the SUV, which is a safe car. And, it's just different. I remember when I was 9 years old. So this was in 1976. My father said, in his great wisdom, grab hold of this arc welder and start to learn arc welding. That was at the age when I was 9 years old. 9 years old. Can you imagine someone going out onto the drive of a house and a 9-year-old using an arc welder in 2022? I would suspect that a neighbour would phone social services and say, we've got a young kid that's playing around with an arc welder and doing things that they shouldn't be doing because it's unsafe, it's dangerous. I don't know. It's just a different world today. Anyway, so what I see, the way I see the world is that, the fathers used to drive the children and maybe just the boys and maybe not the daughters, but let's just talk about the children, regardless of whether it's sons or daughters. And they used to drive them to do risky things and things like that, like my father did, like my elder brothers did, and we, we got on with life, and then I ended up learning how to ride a motorbike, and then I ended up passing my test, and then I ended up buying a bigger bike, and throughout the last more than 35 years now, I've been riding motorcycles. Yeah, I had an accident when I was 19, but I'm okay, and there was no major problems. But since that point, I haven't had an accident. I haven't come off the bike, really. Yeah, I've dropped the bike and maybe, twisted my ankle, but nothing major. That said, I do ride on the streets as if everybody's out to kill me and that I am invisible. Because I am invisible. Drivers in cars, generally speaking, can't see you. It's amazing about how invisible I am and other riders are on the streets. But if you have the right attitude and understand that you are invisible, you can win the battle. Now, so let's understand that. So 35 years I've been riding and I haven't had another accident. Does that mean motorcycling's dangerous? No, it isn't. No, it's relatively safe. So the point is here, we get up, we take as kids to school in a safe car because we're scared that the environment's dangerous. We don't want the kids to walk to school. We assume a dangerous environment. It's a war out there. Our kids are gonna, become something that they shouldn't be. I see this with the younger people coming into my organisation. I see that they're not risk takers anymore. From a work perspective, they don't want to take a risk. They're always taking the safe approach when delivering our products and things like that. They'll not leap off the wall and see what happens when they hit the ground. None of that. It's really sad. This safe environment with parents and things like that saying, oh, you can't have a motorbike, it's dangerous. Yeah, it's just the wrong approach. We should be raising our children to be a little bit more risky. Not stupid. Let's understand it. We're bringing them up to be risky, not stupid. We see plenty of kids on motorbikes today that are stupid and they're just basically potential organ donors. That's a different problem. Let's get our kids on the motorcycles, male or female, get the kids on the motorcycles and let them go and enjoy things rather than being cooped up on a PlayStation or Xbox and just tapping away all night or doing this. They're just doing this all night on the mobile phone, all night when they could be working on the bike, they could be riding the bike, having a great time with their peers who have also got bikes. They could have a great time. And the riding community is absolutely spot on. So, it's my opinion. This is an opinion, not a fact. This is an opinion, yes? And please comment below on this matter. But we should let our children be more risk hungry and get on that motorbike. Not that there is more risk. 35 years, not had a major accident. I've not been hit by anybody. I've had a great time, great fun, lots of motorcycles, made new friends all the way through my life who I keep in touch with. We go riding, we have a great time, we go and have breakfast and all that kind of stuff. And, we should celebrate this. We should celebrate this before motorcycles eventually get banned through health and safety. Yeah? Of which they have no ground to ban them because they're not dangerous. What's dangerous is drivers and dangerous riders. And those dangerous riders riding on the streets will have accidents. And through accidents, Some of them will end up in hospital, and some of them will die because they made poor decisions. So, let's start encouraging our young people to take up motorcycling, because in the West we use them as toys. We do use them as toys. We're very fortunate in the West where we can look at things like that. I've just shown you that £1,000 can buy you a motorcycle. Go and encourage your kids and your young adults to go and get that motorcycle and see if it's what they want to do. And they'll have a great time. And, when I've had a bad day at work, I go out on the motorcycle, and it just gives me so much fun, and it just takes all the crap away from life that we get today, and it just relaxes me. It's really good for the mental side of your brain. So, let's stop being so safe with our kids. And when I say kids, I'm talking 24-year-old and upwards. Let's encourage them to go out and be a bit more risk hungry, and go and buy a motorcycle and teach them to ride it safely. That's all we need to do. We don't want to go through a 30-mile-an-hour zone at 70 miles an hour. You don't want to do that. You just don't want to do it. Let's teach them to be safe. Go riding with a group. Go and enjoy it. Then take it to the next level. And then with a group, go and tour into Europe and go and visit the Alps, the French Alps, the Italian Alps, and go and have a great time. Go camping for 2 weeks. It's absolutely magnificent, just like I do, and many others do. So, I've given you some thoughts on why the millennials are not adopting motorcycles as much as they should be. We've got the cost of motorcycling and why it puts them off, the cost of taking your test, which is expensive, but you can't get away from that. You've got to take your test for a larger machine. But for less than £2,000, you can take your test and you can buy a motorcycle. Insurance, that's a different problem, but it was always expensive. It's expensive for cars, it's expensive for motorcycles, it's expensive for helicopters, for young people. So we've got to deal with that. There are some deals on there, but anyway, that's about it. Thanks very much, and see you soon.